Just a Bit Outside, presented by WaFd Bank.
Hey guys, and welcome to Just a Bit Outside, presented by WaFd Bank. Join a best bank at wafdbank.com. I'm Michelle Ludtka, and we'll be joined by Aaron Levine here shortly, but we're so excited to welcome you back for week 2 of our new show. Now, if you missed the debut last week, you are in store for something fun this go around. Every Thursday, we will be bringing you the sports insight you've grown to know and expect from Q13, but with a little added flair. Instead of the X's and O's, we're taking a different approach, one that's just a bit outside the box. We'll have special guests, sit-downs with some of the biggest names in our community, plus plenty of little nuggets you won't see anywhere else. So without further ado, let's get rolling. And we start by checking in on our big headlines for the week. Brought to you by WaFd Bank. Get free checking at a best bank, wafdbank.com. First up, the Seahawks look to rebound off their first loss of the season that came Sunday at the hands of the Cardinals. This week, the Hawks take on the 49ers, and earlier this week, they bolstered their roster with a trade for defensive end Carlos Dunlap from the Bengals, sending lineman B.J. Finney and a 2021 7th-round draft pick in return. The Sounders welcome back the return of Raul Ruidiaz, Gustav Svensson, and Javier Arriaga from international duty this week. All 3 players started in Seattle's midweek match against Vancouver. The Rave Green walked away with a 2-0 victory in that match, clinching a spot in the playoffs for the 12th year in a row. Now, when we look across all major sports leagues, only the NHL's Pittsburgh Penguins have a longer active streak with 14 consecutive playoff berths. And lastly, we finally learned the broadcast information for our Pac-12 football team set to start their season next week. The Huskies will take on Cal in primetime, a 7:30 kickoff on ESPN on Saturday, November 7th, while the Cougars will face off against Oregon State at the same time, same day on FS1. Well, after checking in with our headlines, it's time to weigh in on the big storylines of the week from the sidelines. This is From the Sidelines, joined now by Aaron Levine, Ryan Rowland-Smith, former pitcher for the Seattle Mariners, and former Seahawks wide receiver Michael Bumpus. Thanks for being a part of this today, guys, giving us your takes on all the hot topics.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, all right, let's jump right in. 2 nights ago, the World Series ended. The Dodgers, World Series champs for the first time in 32 years. Lots to take in with this game. Obviously, questionable calls about Blake Snell being removed when he did. I mean, Justin Turner with the COVID situation. But yay, Dodgers win. What do you guys think about this whole thing?
I'll kick it off. You know, why not? I mean, obviously I've got the baseball take here, I guess. First of all, a couple of things. You mentioned the Blake Snell incident, taking him out early, and you look at that, and everyone felt. I felt like everyone felt the same way. You have to have some kind of instincts. Now, Kevin Cash has lived and died off the iPad. And what I mean by that is basically it's all data-driven. Everything he does is data-driven. We saw him last year in Seattle take out his starting pitcher with a shutout in the 9th inning when he gave up a base hit. And everyone's kind of shaking his head. And you know what? If you stick to your guns, that's great. But there has to be some kind of feel and human element. You could see Blake Snell was under zero stress every single inning. And I love the fact that this is now under the microscope because, man, like, look, baseball, again, data, I love the analytics and the data and everything else. But we want to see some human beings out there. We want to see a little bit of adversity. We want to see push through some situations and have that feel back to the game. So crazy, but congratulations, Clayton Kershaw. You could just see that relief lifted off those shoulders. I love how they captured that. So a lot of fun. That was a fun series too. I was surprised. I wasn't quite sure what to take from the 2020 playoffs, but it was a lot of fun.
I know Bump's excited because you're an Angelino, so why don't you take this one next?
Yeah, man. I've been waiting a long time. I don't even remember when the Dodgers won the last one, 1988. I was 2.5, maybe 3 years old. So I've been waiting my whole life for this moment. Ryan, I'm with you, man. They took Snell out. I'm like, that is the dumbest thing I've seen in sports the last 10 years. This guy had these batters confused. They didn't know what he was going to throw at him. He went through the beefiest part of the lineup and made them look silly. And he's a local kid, so I was kind of like, I was torn. I'm like, yeah, I'm a Dodger, but this is a local kid. Like, I want to show him some love. But he was composed. He was efficient. And as soon as they took him out, I said, it's a wrap. Dodgers have this. Yeah. There's no way they're going to throw in some reliever that's going to handle this lineup the way that Snell did. I'm really excited. I'm happy the Dodgers got it, but I kind of feel bad for Snell too, because I feel like he was taken out of a game that he was dominating. And that's what gets me about baseball, Ryan. I know you're a baseball guy, but the analytics, the data, be a human being, have a heartbeat, feel what that pitcher's doing on the mound, and let him stay in the zone. And that's me talking as a Dodger fan. I felt bad for the kid, but my team benefited. So 32 years in the making, I'm all good.
Hey, Blake Snell, come to Seattle. We can value you here as a Mariners starter. I think there are two big questions here. I mean, first, does it come with an asterisk, this championship, because of the shortened season? I think if you're in LA, it's a legitimate championship. I think all of us bought into what we felt was a real World Series with the drama and the emotions. Then again, this was only a 60-game regular season. They expanded the playoff pool this year. They added the designated hitter in the National League. This was nowhere close to a normal season, so they can celebrate, and I'm happy for them, but it's just kind of a different championship, I believe. And second, and Michelle mentioned this, how much of a bonehead is Justin Turner for testing positive for COVID-19 and going out there and celebrating with his team without a mask on? I mean, not only is that foolish and reckless, it's stealing headlines from what should have been all about the Dodgers' first championship in 32 years.
Michael, I'm going to let you kick this off. You're from LA, so you let us know if the asterisk thing. I can't wait to talk about Justin Turner, I'll be honest.
You know, honestly, I don't feel that way. And it's because we've waited so long. And I didn't even think about that until like afterwards. I got all my buddies in the Northwest hitting me up like, yeah, too bad it's not a real championship. And I'm like, you're right. They did only play 60 games. But the thing that I appreciate about is that the Dodgers were the favorites and they did exactly what they were supposed to do. And you look at their path there, they were down 0-2 to the Braves and now 3-1 and battled back and won that game. So they faced some adversity. I can understand where people come from when it comes to that, but they're only saying that because they're not Dodger fans, baby. That's why. So I'll take it all day.
Just on the asterisk thing, you go on Twitter and it's like, really? Like, you can see the emotion pouring out of their face. I'll be honest with you. What they've gone through as players, getting through, basically getting to the end of the season and having to deal with especially some of these rookies, man. Some of these guys making their debuts and they can't leave the hotel all year. They're getting packed lunches. Right, it's just such a buzzkill. I still think that if you're in 162 games, and like Michael said, they were the team to win. I think 162 games. Guess what? LA Dodgers, they're winning the 2020 World Series if there was no COVID. But now Justin Turner, I've been on the fence about this, and Aaron, you make a great point, man. You're taking away headlines from the team, and there's nothing worse when you want to read up and see some of the storylines, and then boom, all of a sudden, it's about Justin Turner not having a mask. I think if he can process the moment, I've never been there. I've never won the World Series. If you get to take that split second to process the moment, to throw the mask on, maybe distance yourself when the camera's around, you can go celebrate with your buddies or whatever you want. But I just still can't. I can't comprehend the emotion of just boom, running out in the field and being around your buddies, regardless. So I think I'm on the fence about that. And I didn't even think about the fact that what it takes away from the team, but that's something that when you're in the moment, man, it would be so difficult to hold back. That's for sure.
My question on this one, if they're in a bubble, how did he get it? But we'll move on now to DK Metcalf, because he was the bright spot in the Seahawks loss on Sunday to the Cardinals. The athleticism, bump. I want to know, would you chase a guy down the field, 98 yards to tackle him?
I would chase him down, but I probably wouldn't catch him. I didn't have that 90-yard speed. I was more like 60 yards. Then I topped out after that. That's just the heart of a champion right there. You know, one of my players texted me after that happened, and they said, you know what, Bump? He probably did that because of that fumble he had against the Dallas Cowboys, right? He's like, I'm never going to take anything for granted again. And that's what you saw right there. You saw a guy who saw a mistake and just showed the heart of a champion. And I feel like that's what the Seahawks are all about, this maximum effort, no matter who you are. It was nice to see. That's great film. Coaches are showing that film to kids now until the end of time, for sure.
Can I say that I've been in some golf carts that go pretty fast, and most of them max out at 19 miles an hour, and you feel like you're flying? DK Metcalf topped out at 22.6 miles an hour with full pads on. I mean, that is insane. Even Buda Baker was mic'd up and said, how did that guy catch me? But then again, what should we be talking about after the game? Tyler Lockett, 15 catches for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. that's a career game. I mean, just another example of Tyler Lockett being the most valuable player that always seems to be overshadowed by someone else. So Tyler, I see you, we see you, keep doing what you're doing.
I got to give all credit to Tyler Lockett because he single-handedly won my fantasy football matchup for me. This week, I went into Sunday Night Football with a 6% chance of winning, and I dominated. So, Tyler Lockett, keep it up all season long. All right, guys, it's Halloween week. It's this weekend. I know you guys all have kids, and that's awesome, probably planning some trick-or-treating, but I want to know, is there any costume or Halloween memory that comes to mind that you're like, all time, this was the best? And Ryan, I mean, do you guys even celebrate Halloween in Australia?
Yeah, Michelle, that's a great question. And, you know, Australians, it's more of it's not just across the board, every kid's out. You know, like some people think it's silly or whatever it is. I loved it as a kid. I was always pestering my mum to get out there. But once I got to the US, right, being Australian and the whole novelty, the whole Crocodile Dundee, Steve Irwin. For me, it doesn't change year to year. It's the same costume. Matter of fact, I've got it right here, people. Look at this, right? This is more of a tribute. Steve Irwin, the Croc Hunter, boom.
Yeah.
And even better than that, look, check, I'm going to show you this too. Now I'm all business up the top, but look at these shorts. Boom, got them on. I wear these daily. I'm walking down Green Lake right now wearing these shorts, all right? Well, Bump, you'd look good in a pair of these, champion. But that's basically year after year, it's Steve Irwin. So if you're out walking the streets of Seattle, I don't know if we're supposed to or not. I think I'm just going to sneak my kids out. I don't know. But if you see the Croc Hunter rolling down the street, you know who it is.
My 3-year-old son's going to be a Ninja Turtle. My wife is going to be a Ninja Turtle. My dog's going to be a Ninja Turtle. And my son does not want me to be a Ninja Turtle. He wants me to be the bad guy, Shredder. So weekend. I will say that my best memory is dressing up as Elvis. I wanted to give myself some sideburns, and I took permanent ink pen. I was 8 years old, and I did it before my mom got home. She absolutely freaked out. I had sideburns on my face for the next couple of days.
Nice.
I wasn't a kid. Me and my wife, before we had kids, you know, when we were fun, we used to go out and do things and stuff. We dressed up one year. I was Jackie Moon. And she was Snooki. Jersey Shore was hot at the time. So Jackie Moon and Snooki looked good. Man, I had the quads to pull that off. These days I'm a little slimmer than I was back in the day. But yeah, that was a good one. 2010, I believe that was.
Snooki. Oh man.
I love it. My best one, for the record, I was a troll doll one year, and I had the hair that sticks straight up, hot pink. It was a good look.
Nice.
Well,
Awesome.
Michael, Ryan, Aaron, thank you so much for giving us your takes from the sidelines. As always, we appreciate your guys' time.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks you.
Guys.
He just completed his second year on the Mariners' big league roster, and now Shedlong Jr. is focusing on rehabbing from shin surgery to come back better than ever in 2021. Earlier today, I caught up with the second baseman here on Just a Bit Outside. Shedlong Jr., thank you for joining our show, Just a Bit Outside. We appreciate you taking the time during your off season.
Yes, thank you for having me, for sure.
How have you been doing? Obviously, last time we saw you several months ago playing with the M's, you know, got put on the DL, had to have surgery. Not obviously an ideal situation. How's that been going? How have you been handling it? How's your recovery?
That's going great. You know, I've handled it well. I've had, you know, a huge round of support, you know, from my parents to my friends and, you know, different family, you know, my Mariners family. You know, I've definitely had a huge amount of support, you know, so I mean, couldn't ask for better from that standpoint. I mean, I can't complain. Just, you know, excited to get back healthy and, you know, see how my body can work out on the field now that I'm feeling good.
To that point, this last season, you made some changes to your jersey, adding Junior to your name, changing to number 4. Walk us through it. What did that mean to you? What prompted it? Why did you want to do it? And are you going to be keeping that moving forward?
I'll definitely keep it. But 4 is a number that I've worn since I was younger. You know, it's my favorite number, and that's the number I've always worn. I wore it in the minor leagues. I wore it when I was growing up. Only reason I didn't wear it in high school was because upperclassman had number 4 when I was a freshman, so I wound up having to pick a different number, and I just kept 8 the whole time in high school. But other than that, you know, 4 has been the number that I've always worn and always wanted to wear. So I'll definitely keep that number. It's definitely a favorite of mine, a favorite of my dad's too. So, you know, I like that number. And then just adding the junior, I just, you know, it's part of my name, and I think it looks better on the back of the jersey. So I added it.
I know you gotta keep the jerseys looking sharp, you know. And I gotta ask you, now I'm not hip, I'm not cool. That's my precursor here. I have seen a lot of photos of you and like publicity stuff with the Mariners with like the pinky or double pinkies. Like what is this? Like, is that like an ode to something? Again, I'm not cool, I'm not hip. So please explain.
It's a South Florida thing. I'm not from Florida, but you know, it's a South Florida thing. I hang out in Florida a lot. I got some boys from there. But Kodak Black, the rapper, he made it kind of famous, really. Well, not famous, but he's the one that brought it back, and everybody's doing it. You know, just a thing. It just means glee. You know, I mean, it's nothing crazy. You know, but I mean, it's just a little celebration as well, just as everything else. You know, for me. So I mean, it's something I like to do. You know, but I mean, it's nothing but fun, just keeping fun going.
I love that it means glee. That's so fun because baseball is fun. Like, you're one of the few people in the world that are like living the dream, like ultimate dream life. What is it like being a professional baseball player? I mean, like, do you ever wake up and just pinch yourself?
Yes, for sure. For sure. It definitely, you know, it's definitely times where it's like this is a dream. Like, is this real? You know what I mean? But you know, it's fun. I mean, being able to wake up and do something that you love on a daily basis, you know, something that you truly love, you know, I mean, it's a blessing, you know. So, I mean, the life of a professional baseball player is nothing but what I expected it to be. You know, it's something that I've dreamed of my whole life. So it's everything and more.
I want to go back to the middle of the season when the Black Lives Matter kind of came front and center for all of us, and the Mariners were one of the first Major League Baseball teams to get on board, to show their support, to postpone a game. And it seemed like from the outside, the organization completely had your guys' back in supporting that message and the importance behind it. From your perspective, what was it like being a part of all of that?
Yes, I mean, thank you to the organization as well for just having our backs, you know, and standing behind us on these things, because I mean, they don't have to, but you know, they did. And I mean, that meant a lot to all of us, you know. I feel like we done a good job of, you know, handling it and, you know, just bringing awareness to the situations that we needed to bring awareness to.
Moving forward, do you think that this will be sustainable for Major League Baseball or professional athletics in general, that now that they've kind of opened up, that athletes have this platform to show their support for amazing causes? Do you think that's going to be able to continue? Do you think the teams will be just as active moving forward? You
know, I definitely think that this was a door opening, you know, for all of that, you know, and just not just awareness to you know, the Black Lives Matter stuff. You know, it's going to be awareness for everything else. You know, I feel like guys are gonna feel better about speaking out about more things now. You know what I mean? And just in any situation, in any category. So I definitely think that this was a good stepping stone for everyone, and it was a door that opened that we needed to open. You know, because I feel like, you know, the athletes and like rappers, performers, you know, I feel like that now, the way the world is with the social media and all of this, we're the most influential people on the planet, you know. So with our platform that we have, you know, we should be able to use our platform and bring awareness to the things that we think that are right, you know, and the things that we believe.
Absolutely. And that is so inspiring. Not only are you great role models, you know, for our youth and adults on the field, but off the field as well. You got to live your truth and stand up for what you believe is right. So I applaud you on all fronts. On a lighter note, I've got some quick cues for you to kind of dive into this locker room, because, you know, we weren't able to be in the stadiums this year. We didn't get to know you guys as players, as fans, I should say, as much as we normally get to know you guys as players. So I'm hoping you'll give me a little bit of insight. You totally have free range to pass. But I want to know, first of all, you guys do these handshakes after you win and you go on a line and different players have different bump and motions things? Who comes up with all of that? Like, do you guys do it individually? How does that all break down?
It just happens. It's just going along. You know, you win. You know, some wins are more exciting than the other ones. So, you know, you'll do something in that exciting win, and then it's like, oh, the next day we won again, so we got to do it again. And then it's like, all right, that's going to be our celebration when we win. You know what I mean? It's not really something that's planned, not like in the locker room where we're practicing it. It's just like we do something once we win, and then it's like, hey, that's working right there. We're going to do that. That's for the win.
I love it. All right. Who's the funniest guy in the clubhouse?
D and Seeger, for sure. It's kind of a no-brainer, but those guys are – D is definitely like the big prankster, always doing something crazy, always wants to joke. So definitely him is number one.
Prankster. Has he ever pulled anything over that you could share with us in the clubhouse?
I mean, his best ones for me is when someone's, you know, new guys will come and they'll stand up under the goal and they don't realize they're under the goal, and D comes and dunks on them. I mean, that's the best one. You know, I mean, we love that one because everybody in the locker room loves basketball. They love the little goal that we got up. So that's always a good one.
Best dancer.
Justice likes to think that he's the best dancer. So, you know, I let him have that. He's the one that's always dancing, always moving around, always looking in the mirror, looking at himself. So definitely got to give it to Justice for sure.
Snappiest dresser.
Ooh, we got a couple. Justin Dunn. I mean, I got to include myself in that one. I take pride in my dressing. I'm gonna give it to JD. Dunn is definitely up there. I like Masevich too. Masevich likes to wear his shirts open. You know, you gotta have some courage to do that. It's just wear your shirt open, but you know, it's a good look if you can pull it off.
Absolutely, and not everybody can pull that off. So more power to him. I love it.
For sure.
If you had to give yourself one of like what your role is with the group of guys in the clubhouse, who are you in that clubhouse?
The Daredevil.
Ooh, we need some explaining, mister. The Daredevil?
Well, they know, like, I'm outspoken. I'll talk. I'm not shy. You know what I mean? So it's like, if something that needs to get done and everybody's nervous, I'll be like, all right, whatever, I'm doing it. I don't care. You know, you just have to go. You got to live.
You gotta live. Isn't that the truth? Oh, Shed, this has been so awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us on Just a Bit Outside. I really appreciate you playing along with all our questions.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I love it. I love every time we talk.
Aaron Levine joining us now. And Aaron, I don't know about you, but I love hearing those clubhouse stories and getting kind of like an inside look at the player, seeing kind of how far we can push it to be like, come on, tell us your secrets.
Yeah, well, Shed Law is awesome, first off. And second, I have this image of Justice Sheffield checking himself out in the mirror while doing dance moves. I also love the fact that athletes seem so synonymous with their jersey numbers. He loved number 4. It reminds me of Philip Dorsett, who came to Seattle to wear number 11. Of course, he couldn't wear his number 1 jersey like he used to back in Pee Wee football days because as a receiver in the NFL, you can't do so. So he put 2 1s together. He's 11. And he also was reminded that Percy Harvin wore number 11 when he won a Super Bowl here in Seattle as well.
There's always a story behind those numbers, and they're so fun to find out. Well, Aaron, moving forward, you know what time it is. We've got this week's Emerald City Extras, sound from press conferences and interviews that didn't make the cut in our sportscasts, but are just too good not to air. We start with the Sounders goalkeeper Stefan Frei, who recently moved to Bainbridge Island, where he and his wife are building a home. And his experience so far with the commute has definitely been entertaining.
It's been great. You know, it's been really good because I feel like every morning now, you know, have to wake up maybe a tiny bit earlier, but, you know, go get on the ferry and kind of get back over to civilization and go to work, put in a couple of hours of solid work, get your rehab done, do everything over there, and then try to catch the earliest ferry possible to get back to my sanctuary and just kind of unwind. So it's been amazing. My family here, we love it here on Bainbridge Island. It's been a really good balance. You know, we have good space here, but it's just to be out in nature. You know, I grew up in Switzerland, and I think I didn't really cherish the nature as much as I should have when I was a little kid. You know, when my parents dragged me out into hikes and I was like, come on, I want to go home. You know, as I'm getting older, I'm starting to really appreciate it and how good it is to the soul. So it's been amazing, you know, just a little example today on the ferry driving home. You know, I saw an orca out in the wild, and it's just, I mean, it's crazy. It's a beautiful Pacific Northwest, and I feel blessed that we are able to live here.
Yeah, it's better late than never for Stefan Frei discovering the nature here in the Pacific Northwest. Can I move to Bainbridge Island, by the way, and check out the orcas on the ferry? I will say, from a personal perspective at least, every time I drive over the Tacoma Narrows Bridge and I look out and see that view, it's a great way to decompress after a really long day of work.
Totally, and I completely agree with Stefan. I'm not really appreciating the nature sometimes. Now, you know, Aaron, you know this. I grew up here, and while I just assumed everywhere else in the country had same or similar beauty to what we have with the Puget Sound and Mount Rainier, and it wasn't until my husband and I actually started dating, I should note he's from the East Coast, and he went on and on and on and on about his love of Mount Rainier, that I finally really realized, wow, how special it is to get to call the Pacific Northwest home. Well, next up on our Emerald City Extras, DK Metcalf. Now, we all saw how his explosiveness in last Sunday's game. We talked about him a little earlier in the show. But here, he was asked about how he picked between pursuing track and field, basketball, and football when he was in high school, plus who he thinks is the best basketball player on the Hawks.
No, but I've always loved football. In the 9th grade when I received my first scholarship, I know what direction I was going. Of course, there were times where I wavered. Yeah, I wanted to, go to the Olympics one day, or I was going to try to play basketball. But at the end of the day, I had to be honest with myself and know that I wasn't called to play basketball or run track. I was called to play football and, do bigger things, past the football field. This is just a stepping ground for me, a platform for me to just express the type of person that I am. So, God blessed me to be here. And this is one way that, I get to reach a lot of people.
And just lastly, would you consider yourself the best basketball player on the Seahawks team? I know Bobby, people like that, come out and say, "Oh, I'm the best." Do you think you're the best?
Sure. Hands down, I'm the best, yes. And anybody who questions that, they really don't know what a basketball player looks like.
There might be some internal strife inside the Seahawks locker room, because Bobby Wagner earlier this week commented on that statement by DK Metcalf and said he's just way too young. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Clearly, Bobby Wagner thinking he's a better basketball player. By the way, Michelle, there are a couple members of the media, not us, by the way, who think they can take on the Seahawks' best 5 basketball players in a pickup basketball game and actually score more than 3 points in a race to 15. I take the under easily on that one. There's no way they're going to score on them.
No offense to our fellow members of the media, but what are they trying to prove? Who are they trying to kid? That would never happen. Although I would love to watch it, but no, never want to face DK at basketball, track and field, football, nothing. Leave it to the pros. But he is just one amazing athlete, and it's so fun to watch every Sunday for the Seahawks. Well, that does it for Emerald City Extras. Make sure to stay tuned for next week's edition, because you really never know what you might hear. Our very own Aaron Levine is currently 1-0 in our new segment, On the Clock, where we pit viewers against our trivia master. So, with the help of Jessamine McIntyre, here we go again with On the Clock.
It's now time for a chance for a viewer or follower on social media to beat me in a trivia challenge we like to call On the Clock. Today we've got Bob Kirshner, a viewer and follower on Twitter. He's at BKirshnerHawk12. Clearly, you're a huge Seahawks fan, Bob. We see from their background there. You're also wearing a Cougs shirt. Is that right?
Yeah, yep. I've got a collection of different shirts, and today it was Cougs. Actually, this was for Jessamine. That's why. Go Cougs.
Jessamine's on the line right now. Also, how's your general trivia knowledge? I know you're a teacher, right?
Right. I teach 6th and 7th grade math and science in Oakville School District.
Well, hi to everybody out there. Here's how this will work. Both of us will have a minute each to answer as many trivia questions as possible. If you beat me out, you're going to win a $100 gift card for Daniel's Broiler. While you're going, I'm turning the volume down on my computer. I've also got some elevator music here. In fact, it's Coldplay, Viva La Vida, right here. Hear it? Yeah, there you go. While you are going, so you're going to have to signal to me to let me know when it's my turn, okay?
Okay.
Okay, Jessamine McIntyre, as I mentioned, is standing by off camera. Again, Scout I will not be able to hear anything. I'm turning the volume down on my computer right now. Jessamine, take it away.
All right, Bob, you are officially on the clock now. What color are the original Rock'em Sock'em robots?
Gray.
What is the actual name for a hashtag symbol?
It's a pound sign.
What do the 100 folds in a chef's hat represent?
The different spices.
What is the national animal of Scotland?
Groundhog.
Which is the only NFL team to have a plant as its logo?
I don't know.
Japanese golfers have what type of insurance?
Insurance on their clubs.
What color was the Incredible Hulk originally supposed to be?
White.
Which pitcher holds the record for most complete games in an MLB career?
Tom Seaver.
Who is the most decorated Olympian of all time?
Michael Phelps.
Which manager led the Red Sox to their first championship in 86 years?
Terry, and I don't remember his last name.
I'm going to give it to you. All right. We are done. Let's signal Aaron.
Okay. Aaron?
Okay, I'm turning the volume back up on my computer right now. Turning this right on. You can hear the same song still going on. Turning this off right now, and then I'm ready to go.
All right. We got 2 questions. We got through quite a few of them. So Bob's on the board with 2 right now.
Okay. God, these
okay. Or at least I feel like I'm testing people right now.
Hey.
Okay. Aaron, you are officially on the clock now. What color are the original Rock'em Sock'em robots?
Red and blue.
What is the actual name for the hashtag symbol?
An octothorpe.
What do the 100 folds in a chef's hat represent?
Pass.
What is the national animal of Scotland?
A unicorn.
Which is the only NFL team to have a plant as its logo?
Pass.
Japanese golfers have what type of insurance?
Pass.
What color was the Incredible Hulk originally supposed to be?
Red.
Which pitcher holds the record for most complete games in an MLB career?
Seaver.
Which hockey coach came off the bench to play for his team in the Stanley Cup Finals?
Pass.
Who is the most decorated Olympian of all time?
Michael Phelps.
Which manager led the Red Sox to their first championship in 86 years?
Oh my goodness. Terry Francona.
All right, that'll do it. Aaron, you did very well. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 correct answers.
Oh,
and,
God. That
an
was
octothorpe. An octothorpe. I mean, you pulled that one out.
I did. I think I learned that a couple of weeks ago. Wow. Bob, thank you so much for playing. We've actually got an awesome Q13 Fox coffee mug for you. And
awesome.
End up in your cool Seahawks room behind you as well, too.
It'll go on the shelf right behind me.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for playing, and hopefully we'll be celebrating another Seahawks Super Bowl title in a couple of months.
I need another banner back there, so. All right, thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Again, the answers, the Rock'em Sock'em robots were red and blue. The hashtag symbol is an octothorpe. The 100 folds in a chef's hat represent the 100 ways to cook an egg. The national animal of Scotland, believe it or not, is the unicorn. The Saints are the only team to have a plant as a logo. I wish he said flower, which is the fleur-de-lis. They have hole-in-one insurance in Japan. The original color of the Incredible Hulk was gray. Cy Young had the most complete games in baseball history. Michael Phelps, the most decorated Olympian. And Terry Francona led the Red Sox to their first title in 86 years. Those were really difficult questions, Michelle. We're hopefully going to make them easier in future weeks.
Yeah, but props to you, Aaron. I don't know how you got all of those. They were just wonderful. You did awesome. Now, if you want to take on Aaron and be a part of On the Clock, just head over to Twitter and send a note to Aaron at AaronQ13Fox for your chance to join us on the show. And speaking of Aaron, we bring him back here again. And last week, Aaron, you said if you went 0-5 with your picks for the week, we might just cut the next segment altogether. But yay! That's not the case. So what do you have for us this week in Against All Odds?
4 instead?
Against All Odds.
I did okay. Okay, I got my little Swami hat somewhere around there. I'm going to bring it out for next week. Let's take a look at how I did last week. We actually went 3-2, winning with the Giants and the points, Syracuse and the points, and Purdue in the points. If I had stayed with the underdogs, we would have been a perfect 5-0 last week. By the way, we lost that Browns game because their kicker missed the extra point at the end of that game. I will hold it against him for the rest of the season. So here we go with this week's picks. I'm going to take the home team on a short week, Carolina later tonight, laying less than a field goal against the Atlanta Falcons. As you can tell, I like taking underdogs in college football. Notre Dame is fat and happy after a huge win last week, so I'm going to take Georgia Tech in 20 points. I'm also going to take 25 points in a rivalry game all day long with Michigan State against Michigan. And back to the NFL on Sunday. Give me the Broncos at home getting 3 points against a rookie quarterback in Justin Herbert. And I like the Raiders on the road getting 2.5 points at Cleveland. Again, Michelle, we were 3-2 last week, so this segment's not going away at least for one more week.
I'll take it, Aaron. I always love your insight. We'll make sure to watch all of those matches closely this weekend. And on that note, we're done. That does it for this week's Just a Bit Outside, presented by WaFd Bank. Join a best bank. Big thanks to Michael Bumpus, Ryan Rowland-Smith, and Shed Long Jr. for joining us. For Aaron Levine and our entire production crew, I'm Michelle Ludtka. We'll see you same time, same spot next week.